Hi, I'm Jelena. I'm your host and the creator of the Confetti Project. 10 years ago, I started a photography challenge where I would photograph people in pounds of confetti while grieving the loss of my dad. And after a decade of doing these photo shoots and workshops, I realized that something as simple as confetti has the power to reconnect us to our childlike joy and even transform our pain into beauty and purpose. I also realized that we're very play deprived and that this disconnection from play is hurting our well-being more than we think. Confetti Conversations is the newest chapter. It's a series of heartfelt conversations and confetti play breaks with authentic voices and celebrators of life. Together we explore the inner child, the messiness of being human, and why joy matters, especially when life gets hard, all while proving that play is just as important when we grow up. Today I'm talking with my friend, artist, and fun enthusiast, Olivia Ruffin. Welcome to your new favorite playdate. You wrote, "If you were to step into my mind, you'd first be greeted by the scent of fresh baked confetti cake. You'd then be blasted by a confetti cannon. Yes. Although completely off guard, you're in my world where life is better when it's a celebration."
I want people to feel safe and welcome and just able to be unapologetically themselves. Maybe I can lead by example and people can be like, oh, it's not that serious.
I'm highly sensitive, so I can feel people's pain.
So sensitive.
Oh my God, okay.
Yeah, I cry.
Superpower, but also sometimes not when you learning not to absorb everything or take everything personally.
Oh my gosh.
That's not mine, that's theirs. But it's such a beautiful opportunity that I think people miss out on any given day, where it's we can all be a homecoming for each other just by our presence.
I'm super socially aware about what's going on. I know we're in hard times and I know the world is crazy right now, but there are still so many little microscopic things to be happy about and to celebrate. Out of all the time, out of all the years, out of all the planets and stars and whatever, I'm me and you're you, and we get to follow our passions and do our thing, and that's crazy.
I really think that joy is something that's innately within us. I don't think it's specific to what circumstances going on in life, but joy to me is an inner state of being. I feel we can always reconnect to that part of ourselves. What is younger Olivia like?
Little me, if I go all the way back, was when I was going to a new school in 5th grade. I was in an interview and she asked the principal, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she definitely wanted to hear first female president or something really aspirational. But I said I wanted to be a fairy, and I truly wanted to just embody being magical. There are times that I look around and I'm making my art and I'm in the creative zone and I'm just eating my candy and my sweets and just living my silly confetti life with rainbows coming in the windows from my little prism paper and stuff like that. And I look around and I'm I am living my fairy life right now. Dressing so crazy for all the people that would be it's not a fashion show. The world isn't a fashion show. The world's not your runway. I'm proving them wrong. Dressing like this all the time. I feel I have always wanted to be me, just so myself, which sounds so basic.
Was it always like that? Even in the teenage years? Because I do think as we start to grow up, so much from the outside starts to influence our insides, right?
Definitely. I think about 5th grade little me, and she was so brave. I would be bullied so badly because people would just be like, what are you wearing? Why do you look like that? I was totally picked on and teased on. This ridiculous little story from 4th grade is that I met all these girls for the first time. We went on a trip to Boston and I showed up and I was had tutus and these hot pink shoes with skulls on them and a sequin top and all this stuff, and everyone kept saying what are you wearing? What are you wearing? Who are you? You're this weird new girl. And I literally was guys, I get it. It's probably so confusing why I look like this. I actually, before the trip, packed 2 identical suitcases, and one of them had all my normal clothes in them, and the other one had all these costumes in them, and I accidentally picked the costume one, and everyone was that makes total sense. I wanted to fit in. Things get to you, and I have my own mental struggles and stuff, but I feel I was still so outwardly, visually colorful and like expressive, like no matter what. If I'm not having fun, I don't want to be doing it.
But you must be at odds with a lot of people because I think, or just adulthood, because like doing this, you know,
Yeah.
I've realized through the past 10 years of taking confetti portraits of people that we're so play deprived, which means that we're joy deprived and fun deprived, right? And it's so normalized.
Sometimes it can be hard for people to like take me seriously, which is so frustrating. Like I want to show up and be my most playful, colorful self, but like sometimes people will shut that down or won't like understand it or will be too afraid to like be vulnerable, because I feel like a lot of being playful and like unlocking your inner child and stuff is, and being your authentic self is like to be vulnerable. Like art is like the act of letting go and just being able to like create and flow through things and like learn things as you're creating. For the most part, it's kind of just like you have to just like let go of the rules and like not care what other people think, because that's like stopping you from living your own life.
So on that note, are you ready to play with some confetti?
Yes.
Shall we do it?
Yes.
So tell me how you feel after that little confetti place up.
I feel like I can't sit here and not like just, I feel incredible.
So we talked about play and joy, like its role in your life. How do you use play and joy to navigate hard things?
I just like, it's good to know that it's always there and it's always an option and it's so easily accessible. Like you don't need anything to feel joy. Like you don't need to buy anything. Truly, you can like put on your favorite song and dance. Like I used to make myself laugh, honestly, because I remember breaking up with my boyfriend on the phone or getting dumped on the phone and then just hanging up the phone and being like crying and being like, okay, well, I guess I have to listen to One Direction now and like play One Direction and be like, that's what makes you beautiful, and like crying through it and then being like, wait, I love this song, and just like loving it, you know?
And getting caught up in the moment.
Yes.
So you're so present that you get like a break.
Joy is, you have to be like present to feel the joy and like literally living in the moment. Like when have like sadness and stuff, that can like linger and be like an underlying kind of like haze that you kind of trudge through.
Because it's so easy to get disconnected from your joy and like feel like, oh, I'm an adult, like there's no room for joy anymore.
I know, which is so sad. Like if I see so many people who like feel that way.
When you go out into the world, you do need armor up because it's not always safe, right? So we have these things that we do, like we harden ourselves, right? And we have to put these walls up as like protection, but at the same time, when you don't put them down, you like rob yourself of beautiful things.
You have to remind yourself to like live. Like it's crazy that you would even have to like pencil that in, but like you finding time to like see what you find. I literally love that confetti just came at that, like it was a purple one too, so it was like dark in the corner of my eye, like what's going on here right now?
What are 3 things someone can do to not care about what other people think as much?
Literally take a look around and recognize that like no one is actually looking at you. People are so like in their own little worlds. You have to just remember that like, you know, people have their own insecurities and people are like worrying about themselves. Instead of thinking like what if, you have to just think like even if. Like even if they see this, like I'm still expressing myself and I'm being my own person, and that is like a big enough hurdle to get over, and that's like a big enough deal just to like be yourself and live and exist in your own way.
You were diagnosed with bipolar disorder. How would you describe what bipolar disorder is, and how has that influenced this ethos of your life?
With like bipolar disorder, there's like a lot of like ups and downs, like really heavy like manic moments where, say for like a week or so, I'm feeling like really inspired and I'm like gonna do all my projects and I'm really excited and I want to do every activity and hang out with every friend and all this stuff, and then like out of nowhere all of a sudden you're like, I actually don't want to do any of those things and I hate it all and I don't want to hang out with anybody. Like, and it changes like really quick. I've been told a lot that like I'm too much. And people will be like, you're way too much. Like, you're a lot to handle. Yeah, I'm a super deep feeler. I'm gonna like, if I'm crying, I'm like really gonna cry. If I'm like really happy, I'm like really happy. With the bipolar disorder, I'm so like, it's like, there's like a rage in me. I have this like energy that is just like trying so hard to escape me. And honestly, it sounds so corny, but I have been able to like channel that through my art and just being like, I have so many thoughts, I have so many feelings, like I don't even have an idea for this painting, but let me just like get the colors down and get the ideas down and like make squiggles and just like big broad brush strokes and just like feel through it. Going to therapy is amazing. Journaling, I journal every day. I like really find that like writing helps me so much. Meds, but that's not like, you know, that's not the best answer, but it is a true answer.
No, but it all works together.
It's like a perfect combination, and you know, it's hard. It's been a journey. I've found there's been a lot of, you know, my mental health has taken tolls on many relationships I've had, and I look back on some relationships, friendships, the people I've dated, I look back and I'm like, ooh, like I was intense, or I was like rough. I'm growing and I'm learning and I'm constantly changing, and like you can't fault anybody for like going through life for the first time. Just like having grace with myself and with others. I feel like as I come to terms with who I am and find like my own inner peace, I have like such a higher tolerance for other people.
What would your younger self tell you now?
Truly, I think she'd just be like, have fun, go be ridiculous. I just want to like lead with joy forever. I want to be having fun. I want to be spreading fun. Like doing things like your childhood self would have wanted is so much more rewarding. Like I want to impress baby me. I value that opinion so much more than like someone higher up than me, because that's who really knows me and that's who really cares.
So the last thing we do, the final confetti throw. Okay, ready?
Yes. Just up into the air?
Whatever you want.
Okay.
Ready, set.
2.